Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mindy and I thought I would share with you guys today how I am transitioning back to WW Freestyle, that way of eating from my little keto experiment, and I wanted to share with you the changes that I'm making to the way that I am working the program. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Okay, you guys, it is another super chilly day outside. It's in the low 30s and the wind chills are in the 20s. I have been out and about today and have been thinking about filming this, and I decided that I'd just hop on here and do kind of an informal little chatty vlog and let you guys know some of the changes that I'm trying to implement with the way that I'm eating as I transition back to the freestyle way of eating from keto. So hopefully you have seen my keto videos by now, if that's something that interested you or you have at least watched the recap. I ate ketogenic for 3 weeks and I shared what my results were. There were some good things, there were some not so good things, there were some things that I liked about it, there were some things that I didn't like about it, but overall I didn't think I was reaping enough results from it to continue doing it long term. However, I am very pleased to know that I can eat that way and probably at the very least, maintain where I am as far as my weight and my overall health, and it might be a good, mindset shift or just a good little metabolism kickstart or just something different, whenever I'm getting tired of eating the way that I have been eating. But it did throw into my viewpoint, it did throw into focus kind of some things that I have probably been doing that have been holding me back a little bit on freestyle. So if you are new to Weight Watchers or to WW Freestyle, you might not know that they have gone through quite a few changes in their program, even just since the first time that I was introduced to it back in the early 2000s. So when I first joined Weight Watchers, like back when I was in college, this is more than 15 years ago, it was the points program, classic points, and everything was worth points. Fruits were worth points, vegetables were worth points. And part of the issue with that is that, an apple was worth 2 points and a fun-sized Snickers bar was worth 2 points. So, obviously, I'm probably going to choose the fun-sized Snickers bar over the apple. So when I came back to the program, almost 10 years later, they had made some changes that I actually really liked. And one of the things that they had done is reduce the amount of points that you were allowed to eat in the day, but they had made fruits and most fruits and most vegetables, they had made 0 points values. The exceptions were corn, peas and beans, avocado, which is still an exception, and potatoes, those kinds of things were worth points. But grapes, apples, bananas, asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, all of that was worth 0 points. Okay, and I worked that program. I was successful on that program. I did pretty well. Fast forward to, I think it was 2016, whenever they introduced Smart Points. And they completely overhauled their points system. And they started to assign, a negative factor for sugar and a positive factor for protein. Fruits and vegetables remained 0 points. And I was actually happy when I came back to see that they had completely recalculated the points values of foods, and that now, chicken breast and cottage cheese are going to be a lower Smart Points value than, pasta or bread or a fiber brownie or something that has a whole bunch of added sugar in it. Before, that wasn't the case, and I was happy to see that happen because I had already felt like, half a cup of cottage cheese is definitely more value to me as far as satiating my hunger than one of those fiber brownies. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, and then about a year later, they tweaked the program again, and they introduced several more foods that were going to be worth 0 points on the program. And they decided that corn and peas, some of the starchy vegetables, not potatoes still, but that those would be 0 points. They decided that chicken breast or 99% fat-free turkey, and also all seafoods would be 0, eggs would be 0, beans would be 0, and several other things, non-fat plain Greek yogurt. So now we have this whole 0 point foods list to choose from. But I think that it is important to understand that even if you don't have to when you're first starting out, eventually you are still going to have to understand that 0 points does not mean 0 calories. And you may, I'm talking about myself here, and I may have to continue to consider portions where those are concerned. A banana and an apple together have about the same caloric value as like a Milky Way candy bar. I mean, a banana and an apple, if you eat those two things as a snack, that's like over 200 calories, 220 to 250, depending on the size of those fruits. Are they a better choice than the candy bar? Absolutely, because those fruits contain fiber, they contain water, they contain micronutrients that make them a much better choice for putting into our body than a high sugar, high fat candy bar does, okay? But I do think that it's important to understand that over time, we have to kind of make those small changes. So somebody who's just starting out and they're trading in that afternoon candy bar for a banana, yes, that is a great choice. Eat all the grapes you want, when you're first starting out. Or if you are a person who's trading in that after dinner large bowl of ice cream for some non-fat plain Greek yogurt and a little sweetener and some berries in it, go for it. It's all about making small changes that are sustainable over time. But you make a few changes, you get used to those. You make a few more changes, you get used to those. You make a few more changes, you get used to those. And eventually you get to the point where you have to tweak some other things that are technically program permissible, but that may be hindering your progress. And again, I'm saying you a lot, and I'm talking about me, okay? So here's what I have decided moving forward. I am going to shoot for no more than 2 servings of fruits, 3 servings of vegetables, 2 servings of the 0 point protein, so that would be the chicken and the fish and the eggs, and 1 serving of the 0 point starches, which would be corn or beans per day. That would be the max that I want to, target eating in the day. Now, if I want to have more, I can, but for each additional serving I have in the day, I'm going to add 1 point to my daily, to my app. And you can do a quick add in the app. You don't have to look up a food. You could do a quick add and just add whatever points you want to your day. So if I had, a banana for breakfast and I had an apple with my lunch, and then I get kind of munchy and I want to have some grapes for my snack, I can have those grapes, but I am going to have to count an additional point in my day. And this isn't something entirely new to me. You guys have seen me do this occasionally when I've shown you something, what I'm eating in a day, like maybe a burrito bowl where I'm using a lot of 0 point things like refried beans and vegetables and chicken. I have sometimes said, hey, I'm gonna add an extra point to this meal because I'm eating so many 0 point things. So that's just kind of how I'm gonna try to keep myself honest about the number of 0 point foods I'm having in my day. Another thing that I'm going to do for now is I have actually kept my tracker at 28 points per day. That is what it is supposed to be for maintenance. I'm going to try that starting out because there's something in my mind about having those additional points in my day that makes me more apt to work in some healthy fats. And I'm talking about, maybe a tablespoon of olive oil in my salad dressing instead of a teaspoon, or sauteing my vegetables in coconut oil, or, even having a little butter, a little heavy cream, which is not necessarily healthy fat, but using those things in my coffee instead of the artificial, sweeteners or the, chemical-y things that I put in to try to sweeten it up and make it something that I want to drink. So those 5 additional points that are in my tracker, I'm keeping those there in hopes that it will encourage me to go ahead and eat less low-fat, reduced-fat, fat-free, sugar-free stuff and choose the real food and specifically kind of step up, what I'm eating where fat is concerned, because I think that will help with some of the hunger and some of the, satisfaction issues that I'm having with the foods that I'm eating. Hopefully that makes sense. And number 3, and I'm probably going to catch some flack for this, but just hear me out. I am going to try having one day a week where I do not track, where I take a mental break from things and I just try to eat intuitively and mindfully. Now, I'm not talking about I just go, off the deep end and eat all the things, and have donuts for breakfast and fast food for lunch and go out for dinner and drink all kinds of sugary alcoholic beverages and eat dessert and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about having an off the wagon day completely. Will that be a day when I likely am planning, a splurge at dinner or planning on eating dessert? Probably. But I'm talking about a day where I see if I can make, good choices and, not go overboard without having to be tied down to my tracker. Because I think a lot of my fatigue is coming in from this, I hate, it's not obsession, that's a strong word, but I think way too much about points and what I'm eating and what I can't eat and what I shouldn't eat and what I've already eaten that I shouldn't have eaten. It just is like too much going on in my mind. And I remember sharing with you guys back before I did my little keto experiment that we had gone on vacation and I had spent 7 or 8 days not tracking anything. But I had also remained in control. I had some indulgences, yes, but I made some good choices as well. I was conscious of portion sizes. I didn't just eat something because I could, because I wasn't tracking it. I saved my indulgences for the things that I really wanted, and I was in control. And the result of that, even not tracking a single day and being on vacation and eating, richer foods and eating out and not cooking my own meals, the result of that was that I only gained 1 pound across, 7 or 8 days. And I thought that was really good, and I knew it was probably water weight that was going to come right back off. So I just thought to myself, I wonder what it would look like if I try to give myself a little bit of a mental break and just see if I can mindfully and intuitively eat some things, make some good choices, but also have some indulgences and just see what it does on the scale. These 3 things are just things that I'm going to try for now. Being mindful of 0 point foods, keeping my maintenance points in my tracker and just seeing where I am, and also having a no track day in my week, and I'm just going to see where I go. If it's a disaster and the scale starts to creep up, then obviously I'm going to have to come back to the drawing board and figure out how to make it move in the direction that I want it to move. But for now, those were things that I felt like I need to work on and that I would like to work on, and that's where I'm going to start as far as making the program workable, sustainable, maintainable for me right now. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. I, of course, will keep you posted. I plan to get back to my meetings. I plan to continue doing my weekly weigh-ins, or at least an update with you guys about how I'm doing with these things. As always, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. And I will check in with you guys very soon. Bye.